there's been difficult times when I have thought of throwing in the towel. But I think that's part of everybody's journey. It's something that you have to do at some point, and then as you're looking at it, you realize, okay, is this what I really want to do?
Hello, friends, and welcome to a new episode of Merging Minds, the podcast brought to you and powered by BureauWorks, the AI-powered TMS. I need to say it again, but just as every week, in every podcast, I am thrilled and excited to bring you one of my friends here. It's been over a year since we started the podcast, and we're always trying to share beautiful stories, beautiful leadership stories, people who are leaving a mark in the localization industry, people who have a story to share and things that you can learn from. So today I am thrilled to have here with us Luis Miguel, who is the founder of AvantPage, one of the most important and relevant LSPs in the market right now. Hola, Luis. How are you doing?
Hola, Javi. How are you? It's a pleasure to see you.
It's a pleasure to see you too. We saw each other in person a few days back, and it's always lovely to have a lot of your energy. Like, before we get into that, I want you to tell our friends who you are, where you come from, where are you, and all those basic things, please.
Absolutely. Be my pleasure. I'm a veteran of the industry. I started in 1990. So the dark ages of the translation and localization industry, Javi.
Dark Ages. Oh God, no.
Yes. And I've been starting 4 different companies in the
Four.
localization space. I am originally from Mexico City, and I immigrated to the United States when I was in my early 20s. I came over after actually coming to college here in the US. I came and got married to my college sweetheart.
Oh,
Yay! Awesome.
love is always there in our industry too. Like it's incredible.
Love is one of the most powerful forces in the world.
Yes, I'm talking to you and to you guys watching from Guadalajara, Mexico, where I spend a lot of the year with my girlfriend and my love. So that's love moves you, makes you go around the world.
Absolutely.
Luis, I have like my first question, open-hearted question to you. Like it's
Sure.
incredible. Like, I've met so many people that work with you, so many people that have been in your company and AvantPage for 10, 15 years. They
Yes.
always have great words about you. How can you do this? Because like most of the time when you talk to people, they're like, I hate my boss. My boss is a whatever. My boss is this. This is like a lot of pressure. How can you do this? How do you do this?
Well, my friend, I'm just who I am. I am a person who cares about people and puts people ahead of profits. The purpose of our company is to provide opportunities for immigrants in the United States to reach their American dream through language services, right? It's a space that's very specific to what we do.
Mhm.
Really, the having a greater purpose in life is something that inspires your people. And if you're consistent with your values and the actions that you take in your company with your providers, with your clients, with your employees, then there's a continuity, there is a consistency, there is a know-how, that knowledge that if we take a risk in this company, we say something that maybe Luis is in a position to. It's not going to cost. It's not going to be something that he gives me grief about. He's going to be
Mhm.
open. He's going to be listening. One of our values is empathy, and what is empathy about? Is to put yourself in the other person's place and to try to understand them deeply. So that, I
Yeah,
believe, is why our employees tend to be long lived. And of course, they have to be in a company that is successful,
love
right?
it. Yeah, love
Uh,
it. And I've always been a big promoter, and I've always done videos about empathy. And it's a beautiful, nice, basic value, but it's so hard to apply sometimes, right, Luis? It's like you think like,
yeah.
right?
It's easy to talk about values. The principles of life are very easy to understand. The hard thing is really to live it.
Yes.
When
Like,
things are hard, right? During the pandemic, on the financial crisis, or when things are really, really hard, or when you're confronted with a challenge by somebody who is, going up up to something that you believe in deeply, but maybe they know have a different opinion. You have to really know who you are. I worked a lot on myself. I did lots of years of therapy. This is something that probably not very many people here will tell you about. But I did about over 20 years of therapy with a great mentor of mine. And he helped me to really understand my fears, my anxieties, my weak areas, and helped me to understand, okay, all you have to do is really be yourself. That's what I've tried to be doing, my friend.
So it's very interesting that you mentioned this, Luis, about the importance of mental wellness. For some reason,
Absolutely.
I have the feeling that this has not become a main thing, a main topic until the pandemic happened, like a few years back, right? Like this was like a key moment for everybody to really publicly speak about mental wellness, about bringing into companies, into organizations like yours, the importance of mental wellness, the importance of supporting. What is your take on this? Like, like you've said that you've been on therapy for more than 20 years. I did it for 3 already, and yeah, controlling
Well,
anxiety.
Javi, mental wellness is extremely important. It's one of those things that very few people really take care of when they're younger. And I believe it's really one of the most important characteristics of a healthy life is how well are you able to process your life, those around you, your environment. I think that, as a leader, I have much more of a responsibility towards those that work for me. And I saw this also vis-a-vis my children. I have three sons, wonderful people, but there are big challenges in raising them up, right? My marriage broke up when they were still preteens, and we had joint custody. So all of a sudden, from one day to the next, I was taking care of three boys for 50% of the time, which means 1 week on, 1 week off, or 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, on my own, and it was very, very trying. And I learned so much over the years dealing with all of their issues and their challenges, adapting to being able to essentially manage my time so that I could pay attention to them, and had to really become very organized and very much accept how they are as people, and be at the same time understanding that if I was not in good shape
Mhm.
myself, they would be the ones who suffered. So I
Wow.
learned that I had to take care of my own health first.
Yes.
And so that included not only staying in good physical health, but also eating well, but also making sure that I was not angry with them because of what, happened at work, or what, my dispute with their mother, whatever it may be. I
Yeah.
had to make sure that I was the best father that I could be, and I brought that over to business. So I think that in many ways is what explains part
Mhm.
of that resiliency. What people stay with us. Another thing that we do, Javi, is provide opportunities to people to grow. All of my leadership team, they have been with the company for at least 9, 10 years, and they started at much lower positions. So they have been growing, developing within the company. And when you provide people with a great place to work and you give them opportunities to grow, the rest takes
I
care of
love
it.
it. Why doesn't everybody do that? Because it's incredibly. It's like the purpose of these interviews podcast is bringing those examples here to make people know, and to make people believe that it exists. A lot of people prioritize their in my view, their career. And I have great friends who work in some of the biggest multinationals out there who freaking hate it and are just there for the name, for the money, of course, for the experience and everything. And it's like, I don't want to be here more than 2, 3 years. Like, then why don't you go in a different direction? Why don't you just go and work for a company that really respects you, gives you the opportunities to do this, and you don't hate everybody? And you just like, it's incredible that still happens today, Luis. And I gotta ask you a question, because you mentioned the how well you took care of your mental wellness. How do you suffer from anxiety? How did you mention this as well, right?
Yes.
How were those moments? Because I've done it myself. I've suffered from anxiety, and those are horrible moments in which you any little problem, anything that is like just bothering you, it's horrible. It makes you doubt everything. And I'm call me a thought leader or whatever. I don't want to say that, but you manage people. How have you managed to not pass that anxiety to them and not to affect their well-being and their way of operating?
That's a great question. That's one of the main skills I think that you have to learn as a leader. To be able to understand that people are paying attention to you,
Mhm.
right? They look at you, and you set the tone for how the company works. I mean, the culture really emanates from the leadership in most of small companies that are founder led. I was always very very conscious of that. So I'm aware that my personal feelings are something that I set aside when I'm dealing with people in a professional setting, right? For example, if I did not agree with some of the questions that you're posing at me or whatever, I'm not going to say, Javi, you are stupid. This is a trashy question, whatever. I just say, Javi, let's move on. I disagree with this,
Mhm.
and let's just move on. So you just need to be able to understand that your feelings are your feelings and you can keep them inside, but how you come across to your people is
Mhm.
really critical, and it goes way beyond your ego, right? Your
Yeah.
ego is a powerful force, but if you put your ego first, you're never going to be a very successful manager of a company where people want to be and stay.
Mhm, mhm. You founded four companies. Have you ever had a job before that, or were just like, I'm gonna
Oh,
go?
absolutely. I had many jobs. And before starting these companies, I was in software engineering. As a software engineer, I got a master's, got a PhD, and I was working first at the university to finance my education. And then I was doing research for a variety of different other universities, other companies. I had some fellowships from IBM, and I did some work for them. And then I also worked for Hewlett Packard as a software engineer in Silicon Valley. And eventually, after I graduated, I had a full time job in software engineering working for Sybase, a database company in the Bay Area here
Okay.
in California. That's when I was at that position, is when I realized my true love, my true passion, what I really wanted to do was to have my own company and do with it what I believed to be my purpose in that area.
That's
So
beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm positively jealous about that you taking that step, Luis. And for people that have I think I'm very unique in the way I work, in the way I approach communications, people in business, etc. But I am scared of that jump of just like, fuck everything. I'm gonna go do my company. How's that? How can somebody do that? Like, say, what would you recommend people that are in that moment of like, I need to start something? I don't know. And it's not that my case, but what would you tell those who are in a moment of doubt because I want to be an entrepreneur and I don't know how to start?
you know that one way you can do it, actually, this is the way I started, was to keep your full-time job or to have a less of a full-time job while at the same time you are developing your new other passion. That worked really well for us. While I was at school finishing my master's and my doctorate, my wife at the time was working really hard in the company. I was able to have my income, she had another income, and then we put in that income into starting the company. And but what you can't take away from that is you really need to put in a lot of time. You have to
You,
really dedicate time and passion. And if it's something related to what you do currently, you can learn from where you are and bring that learning to your new enterprise.
yeah.
But that's a way that would give you some security, would give this person some security and let them develop it. And then eventually they can transition more of a full time to this new enterprise they're trying to start.
And I can imagine those early beginnings might be super difficult because there's uncertainty. There's no income
Yes.
yet. There's no coming from the clients yet, and whatever. And we see the Luis now, the entrepreneur was a company with over 100 people working for him, and but we don't see the messy parts at the beginning, right? Like what were some of the early failures that you could think of that led you to where you are today?
Oh, we had many, many failures. And I remember at Vamos Juntos, I gave this talk about different strategies for growth. And I
Yeah.
was very candid about all of the different things that we did that did not work very well at AvantPage as we were evolving over the last 28 years where we've been in business. So you have to try different things in life. And you have to also understand that in many of those times, you're not going to be successful. But this is how you learn. This is how you find those things where things really work really well. And so when you find something like that, what works really well, just go with it. Um, the things where it don't work really well, you have to essentially take your loss, get up, learn, and move on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm guessing you mentioned you've been in business for almost 30 years, 28, I guess it's going to be soon 29. Uh, you've led the company from the early beginning first with your ex-wife. And I'm sure back then, if you look at the mid 90s where the world was different, right? You had a vision on leadership. I can imagine that. How has that changed? Because hey, I'm a millennial, and if I wasn't a flexible person, I couldn't believe in how I live now. So how has your vision of leadership evolved during these years?
Well, it's definitely very different now that the company is much larger and we have much more responsibility. I really see it, and many times yeah, I was pretty much on my own. The company got to a point where it was only me, a one person show. At some points, we had a few more employees, and we shrank and we grew a few times. So essentially, the biggest evolution was going from thinking about me as the company to thinking as the company as an entity that is outside of me, and where I have a responsibility to those that work under me, to the clients, to the providers that are working with us, and that I could embed in them in it a lot of the values that I bring to it, but it's not me.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
separate entity. And in the past, when I was starting it, it was pretty indistinguishable. This also helps to explain to you a little bit of why it's you can work with people and inspire them even when things are not going very well for you. Because if you see it as something that is outside of you, then it's easier for you to set aside the
Yeah.
difficulties, the anxieties, the fears, whatever is going on inside you.
So I feel in your journey, you also went from, by what you're describing now, from being a leader or a boss, that's a word I hate, to becoming more of a friend and mentor. That's the idea. And that's what
Yeah.
I hear always about the way you lead your company, right? So when was the moment, or can you think of that moment that you realize, oh, I am loving it really much right now because I am a friend of them. They trust me because I mentor them and I help them become the next leaders, so to say. This was something that our friend David mentioned a few weeks ago during the conference, right? Create the future leaders, right, within your team.
Yes, 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 yes. Now that's a very good question. Very, very perceptive, I think, of you to ask it. When I realized that I had enough talent in the company that I could stop doing everything and start passing it on to others in the company that were there and were yearning to get ahead and to be able to grow and to show that they could do it. Essentially, I saw it as really an opportunity for me to stop working in the business, to stop working on the business. We've heard that many, many times. But really, I see, it was a gradual process where those people that are now the leaders in my company, Vera Hoydonk, Nicole Spy James, Dominika Wozniak, and Jorge Villafuerte, where they grew enough that they were able to take on the full responsibility in their areas so that I did not need to be doing everything.
Mhm.
And that enabled me to really empower them.
Tell our listeners, stop freaking micromanaging. Trust those you hire, right? I
Yes,
said
I
with so
don't
much passion,
micromanage.
my microphone fell.
I see that I'm not the best person at doing the things hands-on anymore.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
Oh,
used
wow.
to, I used to, I used to, I have been a project manager, project coordinator, desktop publisher, accountant, marketer, salesperson. I mean, you name it, I did it. Desktop publisher. I mean, I did everything in the company for a long time, and I could, it was hard for me to let go.
Yeah. Was there a moment in this journey in which you lost your passion? Is like, "Fuck this, I'm leaving. I cannot take this anymore. I'm tired." Was there a moment, or was it a constant as you are expressing us right now?
No, I
Mhm.
never lost my passion. My passion is here. I mean, you can see it, right? A lot of people are asking me as the AI revolution comes and is really taking over a lot of the market for language services. People are asking me, are you going to be retiring soon? I said, no, 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 no. This is a big challenge that we look forward to confronting and growing beyond. So no, my passion is still here. It's just the
Nice.
fact that I redirected that passion to be more of a mentor and to be able to develop, put the time into thinking about things that are much more transcendental and that are more consequential for the company.
Oh, nice, nice. That's very nice that you said this, and it's incredible because not so many people keep the passion for so long. And I'm young. I'm still young. I'm in my early 40s, and I see a lot of people like, I'm tired of this. I want a new job. I want now whatever. But the constant is not easy, right? And you mentioning after 30 years in the same company, working in your own project, that you've never lost passion. What is there an anchor you can think of? Like there's this anchor that's always kept me going.
I wouldn't say that I never lost passion. I mean, there are moments that have been very difficult. There were times when I even went through and worked with a company that was trying to acquire us and did the due diligence and so on. So no, I mean, there's been difficult times when I have thought of throwing in the towel and moving on. But I think that's part of everybody's journey. It's something that you have to do at some point, and then as you're looking at it, you realize, okay, is this what I really want to do? And if it is, then you go ahead and do it. If it's not, then you can stay and do it.
Mhm.
So the I chose well. I love the industry. I love the people that are here. I love the passion that I bring to it, the mission that the company has. As I
Mhm.
told you before, it's personal, right? I
It's
am
personal.
in
It's
the
more than
States
business.
from Mexico,
Yeah.
and I believe that the supporting immigrants is a really very worthwhile cause. It's even much more timely right now in early 2025 when immigrants are being blamed for a lot of the ills in the world. And it's not only the United States, it's all over. Yet,
And
I
we're an
believe
industry formed by immigrants.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Period.
Yeah.
That's like and so when we hear this really touches us. It's like we need to change this, right? We need to
And it is in these difficult times when when it really counts about who you are and what you stand for.
yeah.
When everything is going beautifully, it's easy to succeed and for people to show that they're behind you. But it's when difficult times come that it shows who the people that really count are and what you're made of.
Mhm.
And we really believe in it. So we're doubling up on that for the company. We're going to continue to support immigrants in our work, and we're also going to do it in a way that embraces the new technologies of AI and automation. So That's a tricky trick.
Yeah, I can imagine, and it's incredible and so beautiful and so inspiring, Luis, to hear somebody that's 66 that could be retired now, living on the beach and enjoying that part of the life, but you're still leading, you're still innovating in an industry in which we see in many occasions a lot of ageism. A lot of ageism. It's a form of discrimination that is unfortunately always there. I'm gonna talk from my own experience. Like when you're in your 20s and your 30s, you never think of dying, of seeing the end of your life or anything. But I don't know, for some reason, in my early 40s, I lived the midlife crisis that I've gone over. And when you start seeing the end of that life is finite, so to say, right?
Yes.
And that there's like something, oh my God, like I cannot run as fast as I could before. If I eat a little bit more, I get faster than what I was getting. This is incredible. So life is changing, the body is changing, right? Everything is changing. You realize that, right? And I think that leads you to realize that you cannot say saying this old man, este viejo, this whatever, right? And ageism unfortunately exists in our industry. Have you seen it? Is there any experience? Is there any situation in which you've seen it or you've experienced it? Are you fighting it?
I There's many situations like this, Javi, that are difficult personally that we need to confront. One thing that I wanted to also to bring back to, and I should have mentioned this before, is that, and I believe this is really why also people stay in the company and we've been successful, is that we are not here. I mean, we are not here primarily to make money. Profits are important. We need to be a healthy company, and we're very proud that we have been, moving up in the rankings of the largest companies. But ultimately, that is not the reason why we're in business, right? We're in business to do something that goes beyond that. It Making money is like a side effect of doing the right thing, and we need to be healthy. We need to provide a living to our people. We need to provide a living to the translators that work for us, and we need to provide very valuable services to the customers. Making money is important in that sense, but it's not the reason why we're here.
I believe in the concept of wealth, bringing wealth, like bringing
Yeah.
wealth to your friends, to your company, to your boss, to your partner, to your brother, to your family. And when I switched I started in industry, it's going to be this week, 10 years ago. And I was like this crazy wolf of Wall Street. Let's until the client either buys or fucking dies, whatever, right? And then I realized, like, hey, if I make friends, everyone lives happy. And we create wealth. We bring he has a better possibility of doing his job. I make my job. I bring wealth to the. So I switched to that concept of bringing wealth to people, right? And I think it's unique and it's beautiful. It helps as well, like what you're mentioning, like it contains the pressure. It clients see it, those working with you see it, and it's a unique thing, and not every company out there is doing it. Eh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of companies. Very many are successful in different ways. We're successful in that way. It reflects who I am. Now, my job, the way I see it, is gradually over time to be able to transfer that outside of me to the rest of the company so that the company can run independently of me.
Mhm,
And whoever comes after me at a certain point is going to have a great company and is going to have the values and the behaviors that can continue to make the company successful way beyond me.
mhm,
I don't know if you follow a lot about Steve Jobs, right? Of course, one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time. But he felt that one of his greatest accomplishments was for Apple to be able to be run so successfully beyond him.
mhm,
And that, in many ways, is what I would like to be able to do with AvantPage,
mhm, mhm,
to be able to have a team of people that are fantastic, that have a strong culture, and that have a purpose that they believe in, and that can continue to provide valuable services to customers, that will continue to treat employees with decency and as partners. And I think that that will be the mark of what I'm looking for in the next few years as the company continues to grow.
So when you hear the word legacy, this is your definition of legacy, right?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
that's beautiful.
In terms of the company, yes. In other areas, I think the more important legacy that I see has to do with my family, with my children, with my grandchildren, with my partner, the way I treat them, the way time I spend with them, and the kind of people that they are. That
Yeah.
is the legacy that's different, but it's also just as important, if not even more, Javi.
Last one. If the next chapter of your life is a blank page, a blank page, what do you still dream of writing into it?
Ah, that is a great question. It is a blank page because it hasn't been written yet.
Yes,
I would like to make sure that there is a transition from me to a company that is independent of me at some point, that is still thriving. I would like to be able to continue to contribute in a separate area, the area that I'm looking into with my current partner, who is a wonderful woman. I've been together with her for about 8 years, Larissa, and we want to start doing some work in real estate. She's a great designer, and we are building and remodeling places that we make them much better for whoever ends up buying it, so they can have a beautiful place where they can enjoy their time in this earth. I also want to make sure that my relatives and my friends have my time and my attention, that I'm present with them, and just that I can feel like I've made their lives a little bit better, just a tiny
Luis,
bit, not very much.
if all entrepreneurs were like you, the world would be a much better place. It's not me that says it, it's people that I've heard saying that about you, my friend. Thanks for being here from the bottom of my heart. Like, thanks for sharing your journey. Thanks for coming to Merging Minds. And are there any final words you'd like to share with our friends listening today?
Javi, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I love your style. You're so passionate and you bring so much energy to what you do. I know that you are a great friend of so many people in this industry. I think you provide so much content and so much, what can I say, um, joie de vivre,
Ah,
right? That's really contagious.
thank you so much.
And
This industry is giving me the best friends I could think of in the planet. And I was, since I started 10 years ago, I was never tempted of living because this is giving me a way of living, meeting people like you. Some of my best friends out there are things I met them through this. So, and where I am today is thanks to this industry. So, yeah. Luis, thank you so much. I hope to see you very soon in person again, my friend.
muchas gracias, Javi.
Y amigo, to all
Lo
of those.
agradezco mucho, ¿eh?
Sí, yo también, yo también. Thanks to every one of you watching. Until the next episode of Virgin Minds. Bye.
Goodbye, guys.